In today's video, we are going to be breaking down the shooting form of the current three-point world champion. I'm going to have trouble saying his name, but his name is Anthony Miracola. I guess that's how you pronounce it, but basically he has the Guinness Book of World Records for number of threes made within 60 seconds, in which case that record is 31. Do I think I can beat it? Most likely, considering he did not have that great of a time against Kenny. So, from TNT. Anyways, let's break down his shooting form. Okay, so coming back and actually looking at his shooting form, not from a standstill point, but from an actual off of a dribble type move, what we really want to look at is his base first, and that his right foot is in front of his left, which will allow him to line up the right side of his body. From there, we see that both of his knees are pointing towards the basket, and he is pretty well squared to the net. When he goes up for a shot, he does tend to have a one-motion shot, but a lot of players who do shoot from their shoulder tend to have a two-motion shot. Now, he is shooting from the side of his head. He is shooting from his shoulder, essentially, and that means that both of his eyes are able to see the basket, and he actually alludes to that in this Sports Illustrated video that I am breaking down. When he goes up for his shot, however, we do notice that he has a somewhat of a soft release, and his elbow does meet his eyes. Now, will he have a possible better shot if his elbow is above his forehead like it should be? Technically, possibly. However, I do want to point out that his arms don't seem to be extra long by any means, and actually maybe just an average length of arms, which is why you generally don't see his elbow go above his forehead. You generally see it in line with his eyes. The nice thing that I do see from his shot is he does keep his follow-through up, which is good. You want to keep your follow-through up. You don't want to have your follow-through get pulled back fast, because of course that could actually determine on what that ball is going to do in the air if you pull back while you're still holding that ball. Now, this would be his set point, which is basically right onto his shoulder, and of course, his elbow being way down. When he starts rising up into his shot, we do see that his shoulder is in line with his elbow towards the rim, which is a very important factor to shooting. That's going to allow you to aim a lot better. That's why you have your right foot in front of your left. It's essentially to line up the right side of your body to that rim. And we can see that from this angle as well, and we also do see that the ball does release from all three of his fingers, his ring finger, his middle, as well as his pointer finger, which technically in my mind, and I've always said this, but I always stand corrected, is whenever you release from all three of those fingers at once, you're generally also just having the middle finger release it maybe a millionth of a second after all of the other fingers, mainly because it is the actual longest finger on your hand. Now, even though this is a half-court shot, I do really want to put emphasis on how he shoots the ball. Whether it's off of a dribble or even a set shot, he really does put a lot of power from his right side into his shot, which to me tells me that, especially shooting from your shoulder, you're usually needing to actually work out maybe your arms and your shoulder just a bit more to get more power into your shot. Now, when you're working out to gain muscle mass, it does not affect your shot unless you're doing it in a way where you're not doing full motion. You want to do full motion on every single exercise, and he may actually have an even better shot if he was to do that. And we can see from this angle that it is pretty well in line with his elbow and shoulder, mainly because that elbow is underneath that ball, which gives him that perfect triangle that I always speak about. That shoulder in line with the elbow, that elbow in line with that ball, so that now this part of your body, your elbow to your shoulder, has that line. This ball has to be over top of that line, which we see here, and that will give you that perfect shot. Now, when it comes to having it into a better location, having a higher set point, that's going to allow him to get blocked a lot less if he was to shoot in game. But from what I see, he doesn't necessarily shoot in game, he only shoots around for practice. Something I do not understand is the fact that he says that he practices shooting on this. Just kind of confuses the heck out of me. We can see from this clip, which is Sports Center up top, we do see that he does put a lot of shoulder power into that shot, and you generally don't want to do that. You want to have the least amount of movement as possible. You really just want to have a nice flow of power up through your ankles, into your calves, up into your thighs, hips, and then into the shoulder elbow rotation towards the basket, and then the flick right at the end. Now, he does also seem to spin his hand at the last second just slightly, which is kind of interesting to me. Now, of course, he does have the Guinness Book of World Records shots in a row, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to ding him for that. But is it a shot that is sustainable in game? I'm going to say no. I would definitely, if you're shooting similar to this, I would definitely say try to raise your set point, mainly because it's going to be a lot harder to block your shot if you have a higher set point. That will also make your shot a bit quicker, so that now when you're in game, you can obviously be able to get that shot up a lot faster. Am I saying that this is a bad shooting form? No, it works for him, and I would never ding somebody who is shooting and it works for him and he's shooting it consistently. Clearly he is. He was 31 shots within 60 seconds is absolutely amazing. But if you're the type of player who is looking to get better and be able to shoot in game a much higher percentage, or if you're looking to shoot a lot faster, these are some tips anyways that should be able to help you. I hope that this video has helped you shoot the basketball better. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.